Oh shoot. Hopefully your
It's fine.
Bluetooth isn't on. Oh, we're live.
Bluetooth?
We're live.
Can you even hear us?
Guys, Sam's babysitting for us.
Yeah.
We left the kids at home.
We're at Home Depot parking lot.
We're Thanksgiving shopping, kind of getting propane. I'm gonna try to grill a turkey this year. I don't know if anyone's ever done that.
Because he forgot to fix the smoker.
Yeah, the smoker.
So don't think it's like, oh, he's being so creative.
It's kind of creative.
What
But
has been going on in our life?
yeah, we just wanted to hop on and share a couple things that Jesus has been doing. Some radical stuff's been happening, going on, and it'd just be cool to share testimony because they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And so I think it's important for us to just share what God is up to in our lives on a more like frequent basis. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when God's like really moving like he has been. I feel like all over the world, but it's definitely felt condensed in Hawaii a bit. Like it's been like just things have been happening, things have been happening. So
continuing.
Recently, the biggest thing that comes to mind is we volunteered at Camp Agape. I'll fill in what Camp Agape is, and then you share some stories, highlights. So our good friends Justin and Kavai, they work with this organization called Camp Agape, and what Camp Agape is it's a ministry that does a camp once a year for kids that have incarcerated parents. A lot of these kids, their mom is, on meth, strung out, living out of a car, whatever, or dad is in jail, or both, and they're living with grandparents, whatever. And so what it is the founder, Roy, he was incarcerated for a while. I think he was supposed to do like a life sentence. He ended up encountering God in jail, and God gave him a vision to do this camp because I think when he was in jail at the time, his girlfriend was pregnant or something like that, and he saw like a lot of the dads and the hurt within the jail for not being able to see their kids and stuff. And so he started this camp back in 2006, and they would like live stream it to the jail so the people in the jail could see their kids at this camp. And they just go all out for these kids. It's amazing. They have worship every night, they have devotionals, but then they have a lot of fun. Like they take them surfing and have a surf competition with an announcer. They take them horseback riding. They do all this stuff. And so our friends Justin and Kavai, they oversee the junior mentors. So the junior mentors are kids that have been brought up in the camp, and now they're in high school or they're older, and they mentor the angels. So the angels are the kids of the incarcerated parents. And so it was just we found out it was totally a God thing, because I think I text Justin about Camp Agape, and I'm like, when is it? And he's like, dude, today's the last day to sign up. You have to sign up by today to be involved. And I'm like, where do they need help? And he's like, the prayer team. So me and Sam signed up right away. I didn't sign Indy yet because I wasn't sure like if we'd be able to bring the girls. I wasn't really sure what the vibe would be. And so we just sent it, signed up. It was Thursday to Sunday, and we volunteered on the prayer team the whole time. And it was just the most amazing, life-changing opportunity ever. Like, it was incredible. So share a little bit about some highlights to you.
Well, I was like super excited to go Friday, and after I went, I couldn't not go. Like, I was like, pack the girls up, let's go every day, we have to be a part of this. The kids were just, they were meeting Jesus. They were meeting Jesus for the first time. They were being shown deep love, and it was one of the most powerful things that I've been a part of, and it was so beautiful. Like, an
unfabricated version of Jesus is what made it so powerful. An unreligiousized American church. It wasn't like, it wasn't the Jesus that just, you go in and you have some emotional experience. Like, it was like, no, he was like meeting people. Like,
there's kids opening up, telling their stories about abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, awful things. And these are like little children. There's like 5-year-olds all the way up until like 16-year-olds. And it's just such a deep group, and these children are so fragile. And so being able to pour like the love of Jesus into them and to watch them smile, like genuine smiles on their faces, not because of the activities or anything that they're doing, but because God truly showed through the people there. And there was people coming from all over to help and volunteer, and they found out about it in like the oddest places too.
Right. Yeah, people from Arkansas, Alabama. The coolest part of it is a lot of the volunteers have previously been incarcerated. So it's like when you pull up, it is not like your typical, privileged church camp vibe.
Yeah.
Like it's like neck tats, like face tats,
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes. Like,
it's like
but
people
it was
that
just
actually,
raw.
Yes.
It was just raw. It was authentic. It was transparent. It was real. You had people getting touched. There's these two kids. Shout out Noah and Noah if they watch, but they're 16 and they have wild stories. Like it's their story to tell, but they were involved in stealing cars and just all sorts of things, and they just got met by the Holy Spirit where they literally couldn't keep their hands down. Like you would just see them and they'd just be like this, like
yes,
like somebody would be
so
sharing their
amazing.
testimony, and they would stand up on their chairs and put their hands up, and they were just
So
walking around
amazing.
praying for everyone. Because when you come out of such brokenness and such hurt, and then you experience Jesus and the fullness of what Jesus has to offer, it's such a radical experience. And that's why when you read about the first century church, or when you read about, I was just reading The Heavenly Man, Brother Yun, to the girls this morning, and he was in China, and he was very oppressed, and there was abuse for Christianity and whatnot, and they killed all the pastors in his area and in his village and stuff. And then when he encountered God, it was so powerful that he literally turned everything over and just started pursuing Jesus with his whole heart, and was like, wherever he sent me. And he had crazy miracles happen where he literally got transported like one time, and he had just healings and just amazing things. But unfortunately for us in America, we kind of get we baby step into Christianity. We're brought up with it.
You like give things away little at a time.
Right.
It's like, okay, yeah, I want Jesus to be my king, but I'll I'll go to church, and then I'll just do something good for the neighbor, and then but if you have this radical turnaround where everything in your life changes, you do tend to see miracles of God happen.
Which is what's really cool, and why we love Hawaii so much, is pieces of Hawaii are like a third world country. Like a lot of people see the Honolulu and Waikiki Beach and North Shore and whatever, but there's huge homeless camps, there's poverty, there's deep poverty, there's generational just abandonment passed down, and so there's people that are just hurting and hungering for something different. And so then when they realize, when they experience the Holy Spirit, and they realize Jesus can mend my wounds, Jesus is the answer to all these problems, and then they're just ignited. And so we were experiencing things on the prayer team that were so powerful, because how we were set up was they would have the nightly testimonies and worship time over under a tent, and then they had the prayer tent over here off to the side. And so kids were just coming over asking for prayer, and just having just such holes in their heart, and Jesus was setting them free from the things that they're carrying. From the kids would come up, and I'd be like, what do you need prayer for, or whatever, and they'd be like, and they're just so real. I have anger at my mom, I have anger for what she's done to the family, I have bitterness, I have rage, and they're just, and so as they're acknowledging and they're repenting for what for them giving in to the hurt, then they were being set free, and things were releasing off of them. And then while things were being released off of them, they were, as a byproduct, being filled with the Holy Spirit, because they're asking for it. And so then there's just these and how it's real is, one, this has been around since 2006, because me and Indy have volunteered for church camp in the past. And my biggest gripe with church camp always is, you have 3 days set aside, and these kids have an emotional experience. They meet God, they get filled with the Holy Spirit, they it's so emotional and so big. And then they go back, usually camps are over a weekend, so you go back on Monday, you go to school, or you're back around your family, and you just slip back into everything.
I mean, and after camp was a wreck on Monday. I was crying my eyes out, these kids' faces would pop into my head and I'd be crying my eyes out. Like, I just couldn't get it out of my head. So imagine like a child like actually experiencing joy and
Right.
then going back to their abusive parents. Like,
Right.
or-
Well, but for the other camps that we were experiencing in the past, our biggest like problem or hesitancy with it, and we always kind of dream of like starting a camp or something, but our biggest problem was always, well, what do you do to like avoid that? Like what, because then what happens is then you're just on a cycle where you fall back into the same sins, you fall back into everything the same, and then you come to camp the next year and then it happens again. It's just like this. But what they've done is they've really created like a beautiful structure where they have the kids all the angels want to be a junior mentor, so they look up to the junior mentors, and the junior mentors stay in touch with them throughout the year, and they have different events and things. I think they're even doing a Friendsgiving, and so
they have like Friendsgiving, Christmas. They meet on Saturdays for church.
Right. And these kids, it's like the best part of their life is this camp and is the people involved with this camp, and so they're just so dedicated to it. And so I think the best way I could explain it was like I literally just pictured God in heaven looking down and just being so proud and smiling and being like, this is my church. Like this is the most, I just kept having this feeling of like, this is it. Like this is the most important thing on the whole planet. Like this is, obviously there's other ministries and things that are important, but like while being there and being present in the moment, I just had this feeling of like, this is all that matters. This is God's heart. Incarcerated people, he said, don't forget the people in jail. Like, take care of them. Don't forget the single moms. Don't forget the little children. Let the little children come into me. And so it was just so powerful, and it was so cool because they had all ages from like 5 to 18. You know what I mean? And they're all together and they're all taken together. And it was such a family. It wasn't like the feeling that a lot of times you get at youth groups and camps where it's like dedicated to fun in order to have the kids engaged, Yeah. It was more like family oriented, and the kids just loved each other, and then we had fun out of like the heart posture that they had. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like let's make sure we give them everything that they want so that they're engaged. It was more, and so the kids were it was so powerful.
Yeah, the whole organization, super blown away by it. I'm really excited for next year, and even on the weekend being able to see these kids again. So if any of you guys are interested in Camp Agape, we can get you guys some information. And
drop a comment if this sounds like something that you'd be interested in giving to, volunteering at next year. I really, we're praying about it, and we're really wanting to be more involved with it going forward. It captured our heart, and I'm like, I want to do everything I can to just support this vision and mission that they have, because it was so real.
It was amazing.
So drop a comment if if you want to, we can get you in touch with giving or being involved next year. And we're just gonna full send this thing, guys. We're gonna, these kids, they deserve it. Like, they really deserve it. Yeah, it was powerful. What else? Anything else?
So camp went on. We were sick for a bit. So we had like the flu or something go through the house. So that was like a full 2 weeks.
Yeah, we had a lot of retaliation from the enemy afterward. Like, it was so powerful. Literally, we left the camp, and it was like we had like hedges of protection around us while we were at camp. And because we were on the prayer team, so we were just praying. We were just in spirit, like for like 4 days. It was just so powerful. And then the moment we left the camp, both Indy and Sam got just deathly ill, and just felt like the life was being like squeezed out of their neck. They felt like they were choking. We had a really, I don't know, should we share about what happened at the beach, or
no.
Okay, never mind. We just had some crazy stuff, because long story short, we've been having opportunities. God's been presenting us with a lot of opportunities to evangelize, and I'm always like hesitant to share. Like, here's my hesitancy. I always want to share like the evangelism stories that we have, but I want to share it to encourage people to get out and to evangelize more, but I don't want to, because I want to respect the people's story, and I want to just encourage them to pursue, and I would hate for like anything to interrupt and be like, oh, they were just doing this for this or whatever,
and I just think, because Hawaii is a small island.
True.
You're not evangelizing like you're going out for a city evangelization. evangelism day. It's like you run into someone and then that person ends up coming over to your house. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
Like, you run into someone evangelizing,
And they
then
know
their
this person,
family,
and they know that. Yeah.
And so I just think that would be nice to keep that to ourselves.
No, you're right. I watch a lot of evangelism. I think I was just watching Apollo last night, and so
those guys are crazy.
it always just gets me like amped up because I'm just like, oh, I want to like, because they're encouraging, like a lot of people are watching their YouTube, watching their YouTube page and then getting encouraged to go out and evangelize, and so then they're getting all these stories back of like, hey, I went and evangelized because you shared the story, and so it always like, it makes me want to like share all these stories because I'm like, guys, like it's so incredible what's happening. Like it's so easy to just share Jesus with people and them to receive it and them to be open to prayer and them to want more. And so it like, I'm always wanting to encourage people in that way. But
no, definitely.
So just take my word for it. I don't have to share the stories with you.
Be encouraged. Go out. Talk about Jesus. A lot of people might need him today. But the thing that I don't like is when people will talk about Jesus and just like never see them again. Like think about that person, pray about that person, and go visit them again next week. Like bring them a drink or something.
That's where it's at.
Don't quit being nice.
Yeah, it's not about just getting your message out.
It's not like, oh, check that box. It's you're actually feeding his sheep.
Yeah.
You're not just like this screen. You're not a walking television screen.
Yeah, which I think is probably a lot of the problem with the ones that we see on YouTube and stuff. It's just kind of, sometimes is like a checkbox. Yeah. You know, when you are having the heart, you know, when you have the heart of the Father, then you'll ache for the things he aches for. And so then you'll want to pursue it more. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's been good. So yeah, Camp Agape, lots of evangelism opportunities just popping up literally like on the daily, guys. It's just been so cool and so real. So be praying for us in that regard, that that God will continue to protect us from illnesses and ailments, just because it's been a lot of just heavy fire, you know, fiery darts of the enemy coming as we've been, you know, pushing against the kingdom of darkness here in Hawaii. And it's been very it's been very fulfilling, you know, to say the least, but it does get heavy at times.
Ain't gonna hold me down.
All right, anything else?
No, I mean, always love prayers for us, just some encouragement to keep going, but and if anyone else has any prayer requests, comment or shoot us a text or something.
Don't text me.
Well, me and Sam,
I got a new phone.
This is Brennan's new phone, so he's
it's
like,
T9 Word. You gotta like text him.
You can call him.
I just need a little break, guys.
He needs a beeper.
We have a lot of things unfolding, a lot of opportunities, a lot of just cool things going on with Shepherding Wellness and stuff, and I'll share one of them in the future. I'm not going to share it right now, but we have a really cool opportunity presenting itself in Portland that we're investing a lot of time and energy into, and prayer, and dedicating ourselves to. And my phone was just attacking me, guys.
It's a distraction.
It's just, I was just too, it's such a weird thing because it's so hard. The enemy makes it so easy to not hear from God. You know what I'm saying? Like, so easy to just listen to what's going on in the world. And so even when you live a pretty disciplined life with your phone, it still is able to just get in the little crevices and cracks and find you in a little way to distract from what the goal is. And so I just went and picked that thing up the other day. It was like $90, and I'm just gonna be on this for a little bit. And
I was just making fun of him so hardcore. I'm sorry.
It's just like, you're just not so quick to respond, like, because obviously you still get text, but you have to do like T9 words, so you gotta like,
and like you're just making it harder for yourself, just like
Wait, I'm just making it harder for myself.
You're making it so much harder.
It's just I mean, honestly, like I would do it forever if I could, but Indy was saying yesterday, like we just live in a world that's like so used to texting and things like that you almost like have to in a way.
People, we all have access to each other whenever we want, and back then when you had just a house phone, you'd call the house phone, and if someone didn't answer, then they probably weren't home, or they were busy. And now it's like text, call, leave a message, get back to me. And it's like, well, I mean, for us, I can't have my phone for most of the day because I just get too distracted by it, and I gotta be full force focused on homeschool stuff and the house. And that's just kind of how my brain works. But then at night, I love getting back to people. Like when I'm sitting on the couch, I love getting back to people. That's kind of how it was like when you had a home phone. You could get back to people when you got home from work or were done with the things. But I think it's easier for me to stay connected to the Father and to my family and what He's like prompting me to do in that moment if I do put my phone away and only use it for emergencies during the day. And I think for Brennan, he's in school, he's doing all these ministry things, and he has so many contacts and people, and so everyone has access to him whenever they want. And so when you have the flip phone, I can see that working for, okay, let's schedule like a call, you know, like on this day, and really like listen to what the Father has in the moment instead of like 10 calls all at once.
The thing is, like, God, when I'm alone and I'm like, because I mean, honestly, like, it's been a journey for me since COVID to like shut out the world in a way. Like I read like Ruthless Elimination or Hurry and To Hell with Hustle, and just living a more like monk-like life of not being so intertwined into the world and whatnot. And I'm just looking for kind of the next step, because when I am alone with God, then He is always speaking to me. And so when I'm in public and I'm like looking like, okay, who's someone that needs Jesus, like who's someone I could like talk to, but then he'll tell me and he'll highlight people to me. But if I have my phone and I'm just like, oh, I needed to order that thing from Amazon, it's not even like I'm like scrolling like TikTok or anything. I don't even have those apps on there. It's just like, oh, I need to order this thing. Oh, let me research this. Oh, let me start writing for this paper. Oh, let me, and you're just like kind of like you always feel like there's something that you should be doing because you have a mini computer in your pocket that can do all the things and you can be really productive. And so my thing is I always fall into this like productivity mindset where it's like get things done instead of just like being still and knowing that He is God and allowing a God who speaks to speak to me and tell me who to talk to, where to go, what to do. Because when I do that, I'm able to fully be led by the Spirit. And so I think basically my phone is my biggest enemy to not being in spirit. And so when Jesus said, if your left hand causes you to sin, cut it off. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's like, okay, I just gotta cut this off for a little bit because I don't want to be out of spirit. I want to be able to be continually guided by the Holy Spirit and not influenced or infiltrated by, you know, people around me or activities or to-do lists or whatever it may be that I'm using my phone for.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so it's almost more of like the phone being like a productivity tool.
That, and like, to me, it's like selfishness. Like, the more I'm on my phone, the more I'm thinking of myself. Because it's like, I gotta talk to this person, or I think that I can solve something for someone else. You know, like, I think that I have the power to like call this person and make them feel better or whatnot, but like that prayer that you can be doing for them is like 10 times more powerful. Now that doesn't mean like you shouldn't call someone up and make them feel better, but I think sometimes we think we're the only way.
Well, it's easy to be your soul. Your soul is your mind, will, and your emotions, because we're made up of 3 parts as like the biblical perspective of how we are made up. And so your body, your soul, your spirit. Your soul is your mind, your will, and emotions. And so when you're not being led by the Spirit, then you're being led by your soul. And if your soul is not in alignment with the things of God, then you will act and react to emotions that may not be right. They may feel right. It may be like I'm feeling bad for this person, or oh, I haven't talked to this person in a real long time, or this or that. And so then you're acting out of that, when we can take everything up with prayer and being dedicated to what the Spirit is guiding us to do, rather than what will give us gratification, you know, because that will give you an instant satisfaction to be like, oh, I'm feeling bad for this person, I need to do that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
No, that does make sense.
Yeah, because it's like we're really called as Christians, like, guys, it's supposed to be a Spirit-filled life, you know.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be us walking step in step, like is what Jesus said. And so, you know, he said all the different quotes, like the Spirit will guide you in everything that you need to know. Like, it is literally will. Like, obviously, balance it with the Word, but we can all use like another level of like dedicating ourselves, you know. And I think that's what I was just feeling, was like, hey, step it up a notch. Like, be a little more dedicated than what you are right now.
Yeah, like grow your hedge taller.
Yeah. Yep. Because it's all seasons, you know, and it's all levels and growth.
It's forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, anything else?
No.
All right. Well, awesome chatting with everybody. It was good going live.
Yes.
Nobody hopped on, unfortunately. We could have had some Indy didn't want to. But we'll see you in the future.
I don't even know how to do that.
All right. Love you all.
Love you.